If the IRS is listening, we're joking, clearly.
Yeah.
Totally joking, OIG. Totally joking.
All right. So first, how did both of you, and since Matt is the guest, I mean, even though you're a guest today, Nick, we'll use the alphabet as the excuse. But Matt, how did you get into comics?
Like reading them or working on them?
One will lead to the other, so answer both.
Okay. My dad was young when I was born, so he was a comic book person. He's a child of like the late 50s and 60s when the comics were kind of booming again. So when I was a kid, he just always had them for me. And that kind of led me into reading them. And then as I got older, kind of picking my own stuff. I think I'm older than the both of you, so I grew up with like Super Friends and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of weird to say, yeah.
I remember the Super Friends. I was there.
But yeah, it was him. It was really him kind of bringing me into that. And then as I got older, continuing my love for comics. And then there was actually, I don't know if I ever told this story. There was a friend of my dad's had a son named Chris, who was a couple years older than me. And one time he came to visit and he brought me Thor 368, which is the cover where Balder and Thor are fighting. And it began a love of Thor and got me kind of back into comics beyond Transformers and G.I. Joe. And that was probably 84-ish that it really kind of got me into reading comics beyond the comics based on the toys I was playing with. And then it just kind of continued from there. Of course, Batman, one of my favorites all time from as a kid, but it was soon after that discovering Nightwing. And that really kind of got me like, oh, there's more than just Batman and Robin. And yeah, I think I just kind of kept collecting them. And then I've just pretty much, as far as finances have allowed, I've always collected comic books.
And then he's not saying he's old with that intro, but he just wants you to know when the moon landing happened, he was already making comic books for Buzz Aldrin.
Exactly.
Yeah. But how did you transition that from being a fan of them, like you described, into like writing them yourself?
Kind of on the side. As a kid, I always thought I was going to be a book author, so I was always writing short stories and writing stuff. And it wasn't until maybe I'm guessing maybe when I'm 6th or 7th grade, when I'm in that middle school era, maybe that time frame where the idea of like, wait, somebody writes these. And it really kind of got the idea of just creating my own stuff. And then probably, so that's like 6th, 7th, and then junior year ish, sophomore year is when Image hits. So not only does the idea of being a comic writer, but like, wow, you could actually make money and do it the way you want to. You don't have to work for Marvel or DC. And me and another buddy from high school, we decided he was going to be the artist, I was going to be the writer. And then it just kind of became this over serious thing that we did for the next several years. And that's kind of how it happened. And then I spent a lot of my early 20s trying to break into the business, kind of. And then it wasn't until I guess my 40s that I came back to it. I always kind of played with the idea. I was so close so many times to doing it. I had a buddy, he's in some comics.